In the first step, we said that we need to know how is the relationship between the number of firms and the average cost per firms. We are going to assume the most simple case, as we said, in which technology is equal, not just across country, but also across firms. So that means that the production technology is the same, so the production costs are going to be equal. So eventually that's going to mean that the price that is fixed for me as a company is going to be equal to the price that is fixed for my competitors, because they have the same technology as me, and also they face an equal demand. So that is the thing that determines the price, so the price is going to be equal. Even in that case, we are going to see that there's going to be trade. That is the interesting thing. This is a extreme cases, okay? It's the one that we are going to study. But the results are going to be similar in the case in which prices are not equal, okay? In fact, if we introduce differences in terms of technology, the results are going to be even more strong. But with this assumption, which is a strong assumption, we also going to see that there is going to be a trade, okay? That is the important thing. So, in that context, remember that the demand that each firm is going to face, it was something like this, okay? Here we have the size of the market, number of consumers, we can say. This was the number of firms. That is when you have introduced this number in both sides of the minus, okay? That's why it's here and here as well. And this is the differential of prices, because now this difference is 0, 0 times a number is 0, times another number is 0, okay? So that's why now we can say that the demand that each company is going to face is this one. It's really simple, okay? Also, we know that we are in a context of increasing returns to scale, so that means that the structure of cost is in this way. We are going to have a fixed cost and then a smaller variable cost or marginal cost, which is this C value. So here we know that the average cost, we want, just keep in mind that we want to connect number of firms and the average cost, okay? So here we have number of firms. Average cost, it was the total cost divided by the quantity. So it's going to be the fixed cost over the quantity. Now the variable cost, which is this part, the variable cost over the quantity. Quantity here and quantity here are cancelled out. So we are going to have the fixed cost, but also we know that the quantity that we are going to produce is the quantity that we are facing as demand. What's this one, okay? So this is x times 1 is x over n. That's why instead of putting this q, I'm going to use this value, okay? So this is the q, the quantity, okay? Demanded. So just remember, when you have a number, it's equal to a number divided by 1, okay? Each number, in fact, is a division, is the number over 1. Which is the number, okay? So now you have a division of two coefficients. How is the way of resolving this? It was in the numerator, so up is going to be this times this, okay? The extreme cases. F times m, F times m. And then it's going to be the other elements that are going to be down. 1 times x. 1 times x is just x, okay? Plus the c. So now we have the function that is going to be the CC function, okay? Why is that? Take a look at this. We have how the average cost depends on the number of firms. So this is fixed, well, let's say that this is just a number, a parameter, which is the ingredients, the cost of the ingredients of 1 unit of bread is done. I can change that. It's just a recipe. Here is the size of the market. It's fixed, it's done. Here is the fixed cost, so it's fixed. The thing that it can change is the number of industry. And you can see that if the number of industry increase, mathematically, as higher is this, the whole division is going to be higher, so the average cost is going to be higher. What is the meaning of that? The thing is that is behind economically now, not mathematical. Economically is as higher is the number of competitors, that means you're going to have a lower demand. And having a lower demand means that eventually you're going to produce not so much as in a case in which the number of competitors is smaller. Okay? So, and because you're going to produce not so much, that means that your average cost is going to be higher. Just keep in mind that the average cost, if here we put the average cost, so as higher is the line is because the average cost is higher. And here we have quantity, the average cost, it was something like this. Okay, where here is the marginal cost. So if the number of competitors is really high, that means you are going to sell a small amount, close to zero. And you can see that the average cost is higher. But if you are able to produce a lot because you have a high demand, so you're going to have a high demand when the number of competitors is small. So imagine that you are producing all of this. Then the average cost is going to be closer to zero than this one, right? So here, when the demand is small, your demand is small, you are going to have higher average cost. Well, when the demand is really high, you are going to have lower average cost, okay? So, previously I said that the size of the market is fixed. But it's true that when you open to international trade, the size of the market is going to change. The number of consumers is going to be higher. So fees can be also eventually available. And the thing is, as higher is the amount of consumers, this number is here divided, this is going to be smaller, so the average cost is going to be smaller. The thing that is behind is, as higher is the size of the market, you have more consumers, so you are going to produce more, and producing more means facing lower average cost. Take care that quantity, which is here, quantity we said is the size of the market over the number of firms. So, if the size of the market increase, this is, it was here, right? We were here. If the size of the market increase, that means this value is going to increase, so go to the right side, it's higher. Or also it can be the case that the number of competitors, which is n, decrease. If n decrease, the quantity that you are going to produce is going to be higher because you are going to face a higher demand. Okay, so we already know how is the connection between the average cost and the number of competitor, which is a positive relationship. As higher is the number of competitors, your average cost is higher. And also we know how is the connection between the average cost and the size of the market, just in case. In that case, it's negative. As higher is the size of the market, lower is your average cost. Now we are going to see how is the relationship between the price and the number of firms. Okay, this is going to be a little bit more complicated. Nevertheless, I just want you to keep in mind the final results, though I'm going to explain everything. So when companies are thinking about what is the price that they are going to fix, they know that the main variable is profits. So companies always want to maximize the profits. Okay? So we are going to use this letter for profits. It's like a capital case P. Okay? The letter P. So take a look first to this graph. In this graph we can see how is profits. If this is 0, that means as far away in the vertical you are from 0 is because your profit is higher. And this, here we have production. So as far away in the right side you are from the 0 because you are producing more. if you see this graph, you're going to see that there's going to be a point in which your profit is the maximum one. It's here, right? This is the maximum. It's the one that is most far away from the zero case. So there, the profit is the maximum one, okay? Instead, if you want to produce more, in that case, from here to here, the profit is going to decrease. So that's why you are going to stop and you are not going to produce more, okay? How is that possible? Okay, one thing they want you to keep in mind is the fact that here, when this is a company, when a company, in this case, is similar to a monopoly in the terms that it's going to set the price. If one company wants to set the price, let me show you something. Where is the, the price. The quantity. If one company, as we are going to see, I'm going to use this expression, okay? This is going to be a general demand function. So it is the quantity that its firms is going to observe as the demand, okay? The demand is this quantity, and that demand is going to depend on prices, okay? Here we have another variable. I'm going to tell you what is that later in the same way as P. You can see that if you want to have a higher demand, you have to decrease your price, right? If this price decreases, because it has a negative sign, if this value is smaller, that means it's A minus a smaller number. So that means you're going to have a higher demand. So if you want to sell more, you have to decrease the price. But when you're decreasing the price, you are decreasing the price of all your production. So sometimes selling more is something good because you have more demand, which is good. You can have more revenues. But there's going to be a point in which producing more and more and selling more is just because you are reducing the price too much. Okay, that's why you can observe that until one point there's going to be a point in which producing more, the profit is smaller than before. Okay, that's one thing. So where is going to be then the production with the maximum profit? This level. What's going on here? We have a function. That function is for the profits, because here we have profits, and the main characteristic of that point is that the slope is 0. So if we get the profit and we make the derivative respect to quantity, we are going to get the slope. And the point in which the slope is 0 is the one that has the quantity with the higher profits. But how is the profit function? Well, here we have the profit function. Here we have the revenues, and here we have the cost. So the profit is revenues minus the cost of producing. What is revenues? Well, the production that you are selling, number of cars, for instance, times the price of each car. Then you're going to have all the revenues, but you need to take out the cost. So minus the cost. And how was the cost? You know that the cost, it was a fixed cost times variable cost times the quantity. Okay? So now you already are connecting this profit with this fixed cost, which was typical from economies of scale. Okay? So, and also here we have production. Something else. Well, here we have the quantity produced. So when we are going to do the derivative of this thing, we need to consider that the variable is going to be this one. But also you need to see that the cost is going to consider here production. So when you want to do this derivative, the derivative of this function with respect to the quantity, it's not just looking the derivative with respect to this variable. Also, inside of this cost, you must know that there is also the Q, the production. So you need to take into account this one. And we are going to see that this price is also a function, it's not a number. In fact, we know that here each company is going to be able to change the price. And in fact, that price is going to depend, as I said, of the quantity, in the way that if you change the quantity, you change the price, and vice versa. If you want to produce more, if you want to sell more, you have to reduce the price. How is this price? Well, this price is coming from the demand that each company faces. Each company, as I said, is going to face a demand function. That is going to depend on a number and minus the effect of the prices. As higher is your price, as I said, you are going to have a lower demand. But what is inside of this A and this B? We already know, okay? But we are going to use this way because it's an easy way. If you remember, coming from previous explanation, we have that the demand that each company is going to face, so this and this is the same, so here you can put a D if you want because it's the quantity demanded, depends on S, which was the size of the market, also depends on the number of competitors, minus B, and here we have the prices, my price and the price of the competitors, okay? I'm sorry, here was a negative sign, I think. Okay? Yeah. If you have this, which is the general expression, but you just want to connect the quantity demanded with a fixed number and a number which depend, or a part that depend of the prices. So the thing that I make here is, okay, I'm going to put together all the variables that are not connected with the price, and then the other that is connected with the price. So here we have S times this value, that's why it's X times 1 over N. Here we don't have price, so that's why it's going to be in the A part, because the A part doesn't depend on prices. X times minus B minus times minus the price of my competitors. So that's why here I'm going to have, sorry because it's not here, yeah, it should be here, X, because it's here, X times minus B minus the price of my competitors. Let me check this one. Is so here is positive, negative, negative. Here is going to be positive. Right, nice, right. And now the other elements that are connected with the prices. X, and here we have X minus B and the price. So it's going to be minus X times B, and this is going to be B, which is the number that is multiplying the price. Now I think it's everything right. So we are going to have this quantity demanded, but also we can see, instead of observing where is the connection between the quantity demanded and the price, we can do just the opposite. So instead of introducing all these terms that are many letters here, let's call this A, call this part B, and now let's isolate the price. Okay, so this is the results. We are going to have A minus Q divided by B. Okay, so now we have how is defined each variable here. Okay, now we know that the price also depends on the quantity. It's going to be a function. So when we are going to do this derivative, we need to consider this price, this part of the price, okay? Times the quantity, perfect, minus the cost. But instead of just putting cost, we know that the cost also depends on quantity. So we are going to use this whole expression, okay? In fact, the thing, we are going to do the derivative of this, which is, so we are going to do the derivative of the revenues, okay, which is this is the revenues respect to the quantity, and then we are going to do the derivative of the cost respect to the quantity, and it must be equal to 0. In fact, we can see that the derivative of the revenues also is known as the marginal revenues. Okay, so this is marginal revenues. This here we have a minus, so these terms can go to the other side with a positive sign. So it's equal to the, because this is the derivative of the cost respect to the quantity, that is also known as the marginal cost. So we know, and this is important, that the quantity of equilibrium is going to be the place in which marginal revenues equals marginal cost. But now we are going to do the whole thing. So we are going to do the marginal revenues, and also we are going to do the marginal cost. So let's start with the marginal revenue. Keep in mind that this is the revenue or total revenue. So you can find it also with a T, but it's the same thing, okay, revenues. We are going to do the derivative of this revenue respect to the quantity. We know that, well, this is quantity, but price also was coming from here. So the price that it's from fixed depend also in the production. If this economy wants to produce more, the price has to be lower. So there is a connection between both variables. That's why instead of introducing P, we are going to put this element, A minus the quantity divided by the P. Okay, that is the same. So that is P. Here we have P. Okay, so this is P. Times, so don't forget about quantity, times the quantity. When we do the derivative, well, also you can put this introducing the quantity here, okay, instead of the bracket. So it's going to be A divided by B times Q minus Q squared divided by B. So the derivative of this is pretty simple. Here we have the variable. We are doing the derivative of the whole revenue with respect to quantity. Here is quantity times a number, A divided by B. So we keep that number. Minus is here, and now is this derivative. So keep in mind, like this is, you can go from outside to inside. So going from outside is 1 over b, which is multiplying q squared. So 1 over b is like a number. Now the derivative of this element, it was number 2 was down here in front of the q. So 2 times q over, it was 2 minus 1, which is 1. So here we have the whole derivative, right? So that means that we have an element which is quite similar to this one. In fact, we can put, if I have a space, I'm going to configure it in a different way. We can put that this is equal to A over B minus, so 2 times this element is like Q over B minus Q over B, okay? So this is the same as this. Do you see? Because 2 times this is like this minus its own value 2 times. And also you can see that this is equal to this. Okay, P. So the marginal revenue, I don't have a space, sorry. So the marginal revenue is the price minus Q, which is the quantity, divided by P. But also we know what is P. P is X times lowercase p, and Q, we also know that eventually is going to be S over N. So the marginal revenue also can be written as the price minus the total quantity, because eventually prices are going to be equal across the industry, across the firms. The total quantity that each company is going to face as demand is going to be X, which is the size of the market, divided by N, the number of industry. So this is going to be X divided by N, all of it divided by P, and we know that P in our case is S over B. S over B. Okay, so now we are going to use this expression and we are going to make that this value is equal to the marginal cost. So now we have to do the marginal cost. So cost, remember, cost also depends on quantity. So if we want to do the derivative of the cost respect to the quantity, we need to develop the whole function of cost, where here we have the fixed cost and this part is the variable cost, where here we have the quantity, so the cost depends on the quantity. So let's go here. It's really easy. Let's do the derivative of cost respect to the quantity. So here is cost, the whole thing is the cost. Respect to the quantity is the variable that is next to or is multiplied by our variable Q. So it's C. It's really easy to get the marginal cost. From here we have the previous marginal revenue. It was the price minus these two, well, minus this coefficient. Also we know that we can develop this a little bit more to make something more simple. Just remember that when you have a number, so here is a division over another number. When you have a number, it's like having also a division, is the number divided by 1, which is the number. So now, how was the way of getting this division of division? It was this number times this number divided by this number times this number. So it's the thing that we have here. 1 multiplied by x is x, and now we have n times x times v. So x and x here is cancelled off. So that's why we are going to have like marginal revenue minus the price, the price minus 1 over Bn, okay, equal to the cost. But the thing that we want to see has the connection of the price respect to the quantity, right? The quantity of firms in this case, so the number of firms. So the thing that we need to do here is isolate the P variable. So if this is with a minus sign, goes to the other side with the positive sign. And this is the final result, okay? Well, I don't want you to know all of these steps, though I would like you to understand all of them, okay? How the main goal is profits, so we want to get the higher profits. That means that is when the slope of the profit function is 0. So that means that the derivative of the profits respect to the quantity is 0. Then we are going to get the quantity with the higher profits, which is also the same as saying that the derivative of each element of the profit is 0 respect to the quantity. Which element we have in a profit? Revenues and costs. So if we make the derivative of the revenues minus the respect to the quantity minus the derivative of the cost respect to the quantity, that difference must be 0. So what is the same as saying that the marginal revenue must be equal to the marginal cost, okay? And then we just isolate the price. So the thing that you need to bear in mind is, as higher is the number of firms, you can see now, if this is higher, this is going to be smaller. And because it's with a positive sign, if this is smaller, then the price is going to be smaller as well, okay? Instead of that, if you observe that the number of firms, instead of increasing, decrease, if this n is smaller and smaller, well, sorry, I think that is the thing. Well, if this decrease, I don't know if I said that one. If this decrease, that is going to be higher, so the price is going to be higher. So as smaller is the number of firms, the price that you can fix, it can be higher. But instead of decreasing the number of firms, if this n increase, so this number is going to be smaller, so the price that you can fix is going to be smaller, right? So as higher is the number of firms, smaller is the price that you can fix or you can put. And as high and smaller is the number of firms, you can put a higher price, okay? So eventually you can see that the connection between the price in this case and the number of firms is negative. As higher is the number of firms, lower is the price, and vice versa. Smaller is the number of firms, higher is going to be the price that you can fix.